Hello, my name is Kelly Phelps. I'm a physician working here at Desert Sonita Community Health Center. Today I'd like to talk about colorectal cancer and how we screen for it. So what is colorectal cancer? The colon and the rectum make up the large intestine, and on the diagram you can see that the large intestine starts on the left side, winds up above in the upper abdomen, and then down onto the left side, and then out to the outside world at the anus. The colon absorbs water and salts from the remaining food matter after it passes through the small intestine. The waste that's left over goes into the rectum, which is the last 6 inches of the intestine, and is stored there until it passes through the anus during a bowel movement. Cancer is a disease caused by uncontrolled growth of abnormal cells. And colorectal cancer usually starts as small growths in the intestine called polyps. If found early and removed, the polyps do not develop into cancer, or the cancer is caught early before it can be spread to other parts of the body. Colorectal cancer is the third most common cancer in the United States, and it's also the third most common cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Our goal, of course, is to prevent or screen for cancer. Some of the changeable risk factors include smoking, excessive alcohol intake, being overweight, being physically inactive, and eating diets with lots of red meat, especially processed meats like hot dogs. There are some conditions that are inherited which greatly increase the risk of colon cancer. If you have one of these conditions, you would know about it, and you can speak with your physician about how you should screen for those things. But for most people, screening starts at the age of 45 and continues until the age of 75. After age 75, you would discuss this with your provider, and depending on your general health and life expectancy, determine the need for screening at that point. There are two kinds of screening tests: those that test for blood or cancer cells in the stool, and imaging tests which look inside the colon and rectum for abnormal growths and polyps. The FIT, the fecal immunochemical test, is a stool test that's done every year. You provide a small sample of stool to the lab, and they check to see if there's any blood in the sample. If there's any blood, it could mean that there's a bleeding cancer or a polyp, and you would need to have a colonoscopy at that point. The other type of stool test is called a Cologuard test, and it's done every 3 years. That's a test that looks for abnormal cancer cells in the stool itself. Imaging tests include a colonoscopy. And a colonoscopy is a test where a physician passes a flexible tube through the colon looking for abnormal growths and polyps. And if those are present, they will be removed. As long as the colonoscopy is normal, it only needs to be repeated every 10 years. The other imaging test is a specialized X-ray CAT scan called a virtual colonoscopy, and that is repeated every 5 years. Your provider can discuss with you the pros and cons of these various screening tests, but the main thing is you need to get screened for colorectal cancer. Thank you for choosing Desert Sonita as your Center for Healing and Wellness. Goodbye for now, and be well.